hey, if you shudder at the whole idea of prospecting and you're avoiding it altogether, and you're doing everything but the one thing that you know you need to be doing, then today's episode is for you. Hey, what's up, my fearless networking friend? Todd Falcone here. Fear of prospecting, that's very, very common. So if you're afraid to prospect, if you're avoiding it, if you're one of those people that is hot one day, not the next, not the next, not the next, medium hot the next day, then gone for a month, or you're just like, getting frustrated sitting at your desk and re-alphabetizing your prospects every single day and dusting your desk, then look, you're not the only one, okay? So don't feel bad about the fact that you're in that position. So there is a solution, and I can tell you, because you don't see this today. There's no way you see this today. But when I started my network marketing career, I was scared to death. And no, again, you don't see it because this is 35 plus years later. So there's good news. The good news is you can get better at prospecting. You can get rid of the fears. My wish for you is that you get to a point where, like, there's no prospect anywhere that you're afraid of, that you'll literally talk to anybody anywhere at any time about what it is that you're involved in. So I'm going to keep today's episode fairly simple. But if you're just, if you're taking notes, if you're driving in your car or something like that, if you're at the gym, wherever you might be listening to me, you might want to come back to this, take a couple notes, and then take some actionable steps on what I'm going to be sharing with you, because this can absolutely help you to reduce the fear and then over time make the fear just completely go away, okay? Something I've said a bunch of times when I'm referring to this, and I always use one of my kids as an example, people don't do things that they're not good at, right? So I've taken several years ago, I took my youngest kid fishing, and he wasn't good at fishing because he'd never done it before. And he was getting really upset because he was not able to, in this case, it was a fly rod. He was not able to cast the fly rod. And so he was upset. He started crying. He's like, Dad, I just can't do it. I'm not good at it. And I was like, buddy, you've never done it before. Now, in this instance, my kid is at least trying, right? But he's frustrated the fact that he's not good at it, and he's ready to quit, and he's ready to give up because he just doesn't feel like he's efficient at it. He was probably too young to use the word efficient, but he's just not good at it. And you have to understand, you can't expect to be good at the thing that you never do. So one pathway to reducing your fears is, and this is like this is the big, I don't know if when you were younger, you had a hard time swallowing pills, like the big giant horse pills, big giant vitamin pill, for example. This is one of those hard pills for a lot of people to swallow, but you have to swallow it. You can't completely avoid prospecting and expect to reduce your fear of prospecting. So step one really is putting yourself in the face of fear in spite of how you feel. And I know that's tough. I get it. But again, like I said, it's the one hard pill to swallow. This is the hardest pill for you to swallow. If you really, really want to get on the other side of that fear and have the results that you can achieve through I'm talking specifically network marketing, but really honestly through any type of thing that you might be doing, you've got to be willing to face the fear one baby step at a time. And here's something that I've done with people, for example. If you were completely stuck and you're not moving at all, and I'm sure maybe this isn't you, but you've got team members that are in this situation. If you're completely stuck, I wouldn't tell you go make 20 calls today. I'd say, hey man, go prospect one person. Prospect that one person. Doesn't matter how good or how bad you did. Just reach out to that person. Say, hey man, I just launched this business. I'm not even sure what the heck I'm doing, but this thing looks really cool to me. I'd love for you to take a look at it. And by the way, it's better to be honest with somebody. You don't have to say I'm scared to death. You don't need to say that, but you can say, look, I'm new to this thing. From what I can tell, this thing is pretty awesome, and I'm excited about it. I'd love for you to take a look at it. Be open, right? Be authentic. And you don't have to act like a professional if you're not the professional. when you're a professional, you'll know that you have that unconscious competence. But at this point, you don't have it because you're wrought with fear. So what you do is you just make one call or one reach out. And then when the call is done or the reach out is done, it doesn't matter whether you did amazing or you didn't do great, or it doesn't matter how you feel, but you finished it. You actually executed the invite. Then what I want you to do is just touch yourself, take a deep breath and say, oh my gosh, I'm alive. I survived. I made it through. So here's the thing. If you can make it through 1, you can make it through 2. If you can make it through 2, you can make it through 4, and so on, and so on, and so on. And what I teach people to do to help reduce their fear is to do what I call a linking strategy. Kind of a technical term for just doing one reach out. Okay, I survived. Do another reach out. Cool, I survived. Do another reach out. Cool, I survived. I did another reach out. And I promise you that if you stick to it, and it doesn't have to be 50 calls a day, 100 calls a day, or reach outs, Facebook messages, whatever. It could be a handful a day. But if you're doing that every single day, you're facing that fear every single day instead of running away from it, eventually that fear will begin to shrink. And then that thing that was super fearful for you will over time become less fearful. It will become easier for you. And again, this is a big pill to swallow. I get it. I understand. But the only way for you to get through it is to face it one reach out at a time. One reach out at a time. That's it. Now, you're like, oh, Todd, where's the secret sauce? Like, I thought you were going to give me something deeply, I don't know. I can't even come up with the right word for it. Some deeply magical thing that's going to make it go away. I wish there was. I wish there literally was a little teeny tiny pill that I could give you that would make all of your fears go away. But there's not. I'm not going to do that in today's episode, but I could give you countless examples of the cost and the consequences of running away from your fears. Well, I'll give you one. Okay. So I've surfed most of my life. And I've surfed when I was in full-on best surfing shape of my life. I was surfing, 10, 12, 15-foot waves, which is a big wave. That's a lot of water moving. And I would be paddling. I can clearly remember I was at Lovers Point, Pacific Grove, California. I was paddling into probably a 10-foot wave, a lot of water moving, and I'm about ready to take off on this wave, and I'm right at the crest of the wave, and I'm staring down like, a huge drop. Like the wave is pretty much straight up and down as I'm about to drop into the wave and stand up. And right at the last moment, I pulled back, and the momentum of the wave had already got me. So I'm pulling back, and now I'm getting chucked over the lip, flying through the air and landing at the bottom of the wave. And it was not a pretty experience. And that's what happens like when you back off in the face of your fears. The worst thing that you don't want to happen ends up happening. So, my thing is, okay, why did I have the fear? Well, I don't want to fall. Well, the type of fall that I had going from the top of the lip all the way down to the bottom and then being ragdolled all around was way worse than if I, paddled into it, committed to the wave, tried to stand up, got halfway down and then fell. It would have been a way less wipeout, worse wipeout than had I not pulled back in the face of my fear. So, that's one example, but the thing you have to understand is you've got to face it one step at a time. Okay, if you're afraid of surfing, surf a 1-foot wave. That's one call. If you're afraid of surfing, okay, you've mastered the 1-foot wave. Now to go to the 2-foot wave, the 3-foot wave, the 4-foot wave. Get yourself comfortable, because again, I'm just telling you right now, the more you expose yourself to the activity, the greater the result that you're going to get. There's other things that'll help you reduce the fear, but that's just one I'm giving you step one for today. Real quickly before I split, I've got, and if you're in a position where you're sitting there and you're not doing what you could be doing, this next week we've got my final A-team of this year happening. I'll make sure I put the registration link in here. This is a 12-week, 90-day get committed to your business, get more done than you've ever done, probably all year long. A great way to finish your year, and I've been running this thing since 2008. I can tell you I'm extremely fired up just because of the things that are going on in my own life and what I'm bringing to the table for you in terms of helping you become more consistent, more confident, more active, and get better results and rank up is like never before. So I'd love to have you in my upcoming A-Team. It starts very soon. There's a link down below me on this page. If you're on my website, that is. By the way, if you're hearing this, you're like, what are you talking about? All the details on this episode are right here at toddfalcone.com/episode 292. That's TODDFALCONE.com/episode 292. And you can just look down below. I'll make sure my team puts a link for A-Team. Get yourself registered for it. We start this coming week, and I'd love to have you. And here's the thing. I know I can get you to do more. I can help you reduce those fears, make them go away for good, and get you into that confident, consistent space that you need to be in as a network marketer. So have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.